In today's economy, we can't afford to make any shopping mistakes, so here are some items that should never be on your shopping list. Welcome back to the channel, guys. It's Tomas sharing all my thoughts on fashion, lifestyle, and anything else that comes to mind. I'm here every Wednesday, so thank you so much for joining me this week. And then I also upload kind of frequently, infrequently on Sundays for my fashion podcast. Today I am in a different setting. We are back on the bedroom floor. I thought maybe a change of scenery would be nice. So I'm just sitting here chilling, relaxing in the floor of my bedroom. Today's video is really fun and exciting. I'm going to share with you some luxury items that you do not ever need to buy and should never be in your wardrobe. As somebody who has been shopping luxury for quite a few years, I feel like I kind of have a down pat of what you should buy and shouldn't buy. So I have a list here of my 5 main points of luxury items that you definitely do not need. Just a disclaimer, if you have any of these items, I'm not judging you. This is just for fun and kind of to teach you guys something. So please don't be offended, even though I have to say my opinion is actually always right. So this list is definitive, and if you have some of these items, it's okay. We all make shopping mistakes like I do. As always, make sure you guys are liking and subscribing to the channel, and let's get right into the video because there's absolutely no time to waste. Okay, so I have 5 main items here for luxury items that you definitely do not need. So we are going to start with the number 1. Number 1 is starter items or trinkets. So luxury brands are all about the high ticket items. Ready to wear coats usually are $6,000 to $7,000. Handbags range from $3,000 to $5,000. But there are those little items that brands throw in their stores to kind of poach you into the brand, and these items are called starter items. So for the regular person living in this economy right now, they probably cannot afford a designer handbag from Prada or designer boots from Prada, because even footwear right now is about like $2,000 for a nice pair of designer boots. But these items are they want you to walk into the store and feel welcome enough that you can purchase a little item, but also kind of intimidating to kind of work you up into shopping the ready-to-wear on the handbags. Basic examples of starter items are SLGs, so wallets, bag charms. If you guys remember the iconic Fendi Karl Lagerfeld fur charms, even though I remember in the era of those are actually quite expensive, but if you guys remember those. Dog accessories, hair accessories. So Celine is a little bit of a sneak here and there, even though I love Celine. It's one of my favorite brands. But Celine is a pretty big offender of trinkets and starter items. In fact, actually they just released a Celine Pilates bed. They are a pretty big offender. Actually, on the Celine website, they have a specific section of objects. This is what they're called objects. So on their website, they have items like beauty accessories, travel, stationery, dog accessories. These items are basically useless. So if you go on their stationery section, they have stationery case in Triumph canvas for 5,900 Canadian dollars. This is absolutely not worth your money. They even have notebook covers. They have a Triumph bookmark in brass for $365. So these are just items that I think brands try and put out for those luxury starter customers who don't necessarily have money to buy like a handbag or ready to wear. A pretty big offender right now is bag charms. If you guys have seen, especially if you've seen on TikTok, is to kind of put just like charms all around your handbag. This used to be kind of from like, people online would get them from like Hello Kitty accessories and stuff, but now brands are making their own accessories to put on their own handbags, especially at Miu Miu. They have just released this kind of like string charm thing that you can hang on your shoes and your handbags. This is what I mean to stay away from if you are buying luxury. It is absolutely not worth your money. It is pretty much just like a total waste of money. When it comes to wallets and small leather goods, I do think some people do really love these, and while I personally don't have any designer wallets, as I personally don't think they are worth the money. I mean, I have had the same Muji card case literally for like years. It is $5. I love it, and when it breaks, I just go and replace it. I mean, you see on YouTube all these people with these like big SLG leather goods collections. I think if you are a fan of just matching your designer wallet to your designer bag, I think maybe if you just get one, it's totally fine. But to keep buying, Chanel wallets and Chanel card holders, I personally think it is a complete waste of money. You should not be doing that. To just buy one pair to match your handbag, I think is totally fine. But even designer wallets are very, very expensive right now. I remember when you could get Chanel card holder for maybe like $400. Now they are retailing for $800 and up. So if you just save $1,000 more, you could probably get a starter designer handbag. So SLGs, trinkets, and these little items that these brands seem to be cheap, because in a luxury aspect, a $300 bookmark seems cheap. Trust me, they are a complete waste of money, so I highly recommend to stay away from those. Okay, topic number 2. Now this one might be a little bit controversial. It is costume jewelry. So I know, especially like if you're really into like Chanel or Dior or Gucci, they actually have a huge selection of costume jewelry that is essentially just, in my opinion, junk. Here's the thing with costume jewelry. Before, maybe in like the early 90s or 2000s, the difference between costume and fine jewelry, the pricing was a little bit closer and made more sense. Now that fine jewelry is so expensive, I feel like if you are a person who is into jewelry, I mean, I'm into like a little bit of jewelry here and there, but I'm not like super into fine jewelry. Personally, I don't necessarily really care. The thing with costume, especially with Chanel and Dior, that it tends to be pretty terrible quality. I have heard so many horror stories on YouTube and on TikTok that the costume jewelry, you know, with the little crystals always falls out. If you're a luxury consumer and you do want to get into the kind of, you know, the jewelry, I think it's cute, the Dior jewelry with all the stars and the Gucci jewelry with the beads. I think the best option for this is to go through resale sites. I know vintage Chanel costume jewelry did used to use the actual carat of gold. I know prior to like, I think it was 2017, Chanel used to actually use real gold plated on their hardware for their jewelry and their handbags. So if you are one of those customers that do kind of like this kind of costume jewelry, which I have to agree, some of it is really cute, and I feel like you get more fashion in costume jewelry versus fine jewelry, because fine jewelry is basically just worth on the diamond and how expensive it is. So you don't necessarily get a lot of style or fashion from fine jewelry. I highly recommend checking out resale sites like Vestiaire and the Real, maybe not the Real, just because recently they've had really bad press. But I think Vestiaire is a great resale site. Try and find those vintage kind of, not even vintage, you can even try and find it from like 6 or 7 years ago of Chanel costume jewelry that did end up being really better quality than it is now. And I mean, I've seen recently on the Chanel website that some of their costume earrings are even quite expensive. They'll go up from like $1,200 to even $2,000. So I definitely don't think costume jewelry should be your focus right now if you are shopping luxury. You know, it's funny, I feel like if you go on the Tiffany website, I'm always really surprised by how kind of affordable Tiffany is in terms of their jewelry. I know their Smile line is one of my favorite lines. I just think it's really, I think it's cute and very minimal, but one of their bracelets, I think the Smile bracelet costs around like $1,100, so I definitely don't think it's like truly breaking the bank, and that is considered fine jewelry. But if you are trying to find costume, definitely buy it on the resale site. Even if you aren't buying the best quality, at least you will get better price for it. Also, going into the costume jewelry, I think this also applies for watches. I know Gucci watches are really popular right now, especially on social media, and I think also like Tom Ford. This is the thing, like, would you ever buy a car at Chanel? Definitely not. So I don't think buying designer watches is absolutely, it's like such a waste of money. I mean, I have, not that this is designer like at all, but I have like my Casio watch here. Gucci watches, I know a lot of guys love them. I think they're a complete waste of money. It's basically just like a basic kind of like, basically literally like a Disney watch that you get with the handles on it. And it just has Gucci on it with like all the beads and stuff. Save your money. If you are trying to find a nice watch, you can literally find genuine nice leather band watches for like $500 to $600. Designer watches, absolutely not. Even the Chanel ones that are now considered like fine jewelry, absolutely not. Save your money. I know that's going to be a little controversial, especially with the costume jewelry kind of thing, but in my opinion, it's really not worth it, you guys. I think, especially because it's all gonna, I've heard so many horror stories of it, like all breaking and like the crystals just coming out. So trust me, it is definitely not worth the money. Okay, number 3 is exotics. Exotics, anything, especially handbags. So I know Dior has this kind of special line where every year they release 10 very limited designs of the Lady Dior bag. Some of these can tend to be exotics. Here's the thing with exotics, unless you really got it like that, unless you're like a rich bee, I don't think exotics are worth purchasing at all. Not only do you need a passport for the damn bag so you can like leave wherever you are and then take it into Europe or leaving Europe, because exotics are now being considered cautious when you're at the airport. So every time you carry one, you will definitely get stopped, or if it's in your handbag or your luggage, you will definitely get questioned about it. So you do need to carry the passport that it comes when you purchase exotics. Another thing about exotics, I don't know if you guys have thought about this, but when you are buying designer handbags, you do kind of have to think about the resale value. So if you ever do get tired of the bag, you have some comfort knowing that you can take it to like a designer consignment or just sell it to a friend and it was it'll still uphold a little bit of its value. In my opinion, exotics, unless it's like an Hermes Himalayan, obviously, but Dior exotics, Chanel exotics, even I think Gucci does some exotics with the Stingray, they absolutely do not hold their resale value like at all. I actually think that they lose value just because it's so complicated nowadays to even carry an exotic and kind of travel with it. I know earlier on in like the 2000s, exotics was considered like a really true show and display of wealth. Now, because like the whole PETA thing and everything and like culture right now is really against like animal fur and exotics, so not only does it such a pain to like travel with it and carry it, it also like doesn't have a good look socially, in my opinion. So I definitely recommend staying away from anything exotic, even like wallets, handbags. I know brands are kind of trying to maybe utilize the skin that they already have because people nowadays are buying less and less exotics and they're turning them into wallets and handbags. Stay away from it. It's definitely not worth it, you guys. And you can even check out all the resale sites. The products have like really, really low resale value. I mean, I know I have a friend who has a exotic Lady Dior and it's absolutely gorgeous. Every time I look at it, I'm like in awe, just absolutely gorgeous. But I think even she bought it at resale, and I remember her telling me that it was priced much lower than it would have been at retail for a Lady Dior at the stores. So I mean, that's proof right there. Stay away from exotics. It's absolutely not worth it at all. We are getting into the last two products of luxury items you definitely do not need. Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing if you guys are enjoying the video. And let's get into the last four items. Okay, this one is a little bit controversial, but also a little hypocritical. Number 4 is designer ready-to-wear. We need some context and we need some nuance for this. I definitely think like, as somebody whose wardrobe is entirely designer clothing for the most part, like I would say like 92% of my wardrobe is designer clothing. I don't think designer ready-to-wear is for the most part worth it. What I mean by that is I'm talking about the likes from the houses. I'm talking about product from the houses like Chanel, Dior, Fendi, like Gucci, you know what I mean? All this clothing is not only priced way, way, way above what it should be worth, but I'm also talking about like buying at full price. I definitely don't think buying ready to wear full price is worth it unless it's something that's like really, really limited. For example, I think Alaya ready to wear is one of those very few specific houses that actually sells a lot of their inventory at full price, just because Alaya is kind of like an event and occasion brand. These brands tend to be smaller but also sell full price through their products just because people need it for like events or occasions. If somebody is doing casual ready-to-wear, I definitely don't think it's worth the money to pay full price. I know Dior ready-to-wear is one of those brands that like was really, really popular when Maria Grazia Curie joined the brand, and now it's waning a little bit. And I know I've heard of clients getting really tired of the same styles and silhouettes every season. Another thing is that designer ready-to-wear has absolutely zero resale value as well, unless it's something very, very limited. I mean, you can even notice this with Chanel. Chanel ready-to-wear is famously extremely expensive. You know, a tweed jacket can be from like $10,000 to like $15,000. But when you go on luxury resale sites like Vestiaire to kind of, if you find something iconic and you know the collection and you'll search it up, Chanel ready-to-wear compared to their handbags and their shoes actually has really, really low resale value. So in my opinion, unless you got it like that, you shouldn't be buying designer ready-to-wear full price. Try and find it on sale. I know a lot of my clothing that I wear in my videos and my shorts, it is designer, but I always try and find like a discount for it, or I buy it on resale sites, because for me, it's just not worth buying anything full price. I mean, when Virgil Abloh was at Louis Vuitton, I actually really loved him at the brand. So actually, he's one of the few designers that I bought full price from Louis Vuitton, but also Louis Vuitton doesn't really go on sale, so it's not like I had any other choice. But if you're buying, you know, these like Jacquemus, for example, always goes on sale. In my opinion, you should never be buying these brands full price for the clothing, because it's always going to be on sale at the end of the season, and it's also necessarily not worth it unless you really, really love fashion like I do. And I actually get a lot of wear from my ready-to-wear from daily basis. I mean, I wear it every single day. But then again, you can always just find an avenue to try and find it for like lower or for like a better price. I just mean for the most part, like designer ready-to-wear from Chanel or Dior or Gucci, unless you are one of those people that is like in the luxury game and you're buying like a lot of it, in my opinion, I don't think it's worth it like at all. And number 5 is luxury homeware. So what I mean by this is, I mean like Cavalli homeware, Missoni homeware, Hermes homeware. My thing about this is like, if obviously I'm at my house, so I'm there every single day, and my entire house is Gucci decor, like why would I want to be reminded of Gucci like every single day? In my opinion, it's just like not really a vibe. The only one that I kind of F with is Missoni homeware, just because I think personally I love Missoni and the history of it and like all the weavings of the fabrics. So like a nice Missoni throw here and there or a nice Missoni pillow here and there, I wouldn't mind that. But if like the Gucci decor, I think is honestly atrocious. Like why would I want all these prints inside my house? Cavalli homeware with all the like leopard print, I just think it's a very specific vibe that I don't necessarily think anybody should be putting in their home. What I mean necessarily is just very specific designer decor. So, you know, from Dior, all the like the plates and stuff, Hermes, you know, plates. Hermes plates tend to be the best avenue for Birkin bait. So like I get why somebody would buy it and stuff. But for in terms of designer decor, there's other brands that you can be looking for, like Fornasetti. I love Fornasetti. I think it is one of like so chic. Imagine your wall just being like a full wall of Fornasetti plates. That is chic, but also you can also, there's a lot of designer brands for decor like Tom Dixon, Jonathan Adler, anything for your taste. If you are trying to kind of designerify the decor in your home, please stay away from Gucci or Dior or Hermes. It doesn't work out, and it's like honestly really, really not a vibe. Like if your plates are Hermes, I mean, I get it. Like we're all trying to get our Birkins, we're all trying to get our Kellys and stuff. But if I'm pulling up to dinner at someone's house and the plates are Hermes, I'm like this could have been much, I don't know. I don't know. You guys have to let me know what you think of this, because I just don't think that I'd want to be reminded of a designer brand every time I go to eat or every time I go sit on the couch and then I'm looking there, it's like an Hermes throw. So if you are trying to like designerify the decor in your living room or in your house, definitely stick to niche decor brands like what I mentioned, Fornasetti, Jonathan Adler, and I mean, there's so much more. I personally am not into home decor that much, but I know the basics of like the designer brands. I'm sure there's way better ones, but yeah, in my opinion, stay away from like mainstream brands that kind of have a decor line on the side just to make money off you so you can kind of like buy their stuff. And stick to actual like decor brands. And also vintage is really great as well. I know there's like a ton of vintage decor stores in your city or wherever you are, even online, that we can find really cool, interesting pieces for your living room and your home. Like, let's stay away from the Gucci like pots and pans and stuff, you guys. Trust me, it is not a vibe. All right, I think that is it, you guys. So those were the 5 main items that you do not need to be shopping when you are buying luxury. Hopefully I wasn't too controversial. You guys have to let me know what you guys thought of this video. I really wanted to kind of share these with you guys, and just because personally I feel like I've made some of these mistakes myself, so I thought why not share them with you guys. Make sure you guys are liking and subscribing and commenting down below. Today was a short video, but I think it's fun to kind of just like do this kind of idea, and hopefully you guys did enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next week. Peace.